The Denver Broncos just made a surprising roster move, signaling a strong sense of confidence throughout the organization. Rookie jersey numbers have finally been released. We've got some early schedule leaks, especially for the international game, and a former Broncos starter, once beloved in Denver, has just been cut and is now a free agent. Should the team consider bringing him back? Let's dive into it. Rookie minicamp has officially kicked off, and fans are getting their first glimpses of the new talent in action. While other teams around the league are dropping full-blown hype videos, the Broncos are taking a different approach under head coach Sean Payton. From the beginning, Payton made it clear, this team is focused on earning respect, not putting on a show. His philosophy, no celebrations until results are on the board. Instead of flashy social media campaigns, the Broncos are quietly getting to work, and that quiet confidence is starting to show. Among the first things to catch attention are the jersey numbers. First-round pick Jalen Polk is rocking number 12, a number that stands out, especially considering it's the same one worn by Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders. Polk's look in the new uniform is already turning heads. Running back Audric Estime, who many believe could cross the 1,000-yard mark this season, is currently wearing number 37. While it may not be the flashiest number for a top rusher, it's worth noting he previously wore it before switching to number 23, where he appears to be settling in now. Once final roster cuts bring the team down to 53 players, that's when fans can confidently grab a jersey, because until then numbers are far from set. For example, RJ Harvey is currently wearing number 37, but that's likely temporary. He wore number 7 at UCF, so the current number might just be a placeholder. And let's be honest, 37 doesn't exactly pop for a potential breakout running back. Some of the new edge rushers are also starting to flash potential, and the energy around this rookie class is real. It's clear that Sean Payton is molding this team in his vision. His influence is everywhere, and expectations for the upcoming season are beginning to rise fast. Let's talk jersey numbers and first impressions. First rounder Jalen Polk wearing number 12 looks sharp. Wide receiver Pat Bryant is wearing number 13, the same number he wore at Illinois, and the same number as Michael Thomas, a player Sean Payton has publicly compared him to. That one feels like it's going to stick, so if you're looking to pick up a Bryant jersey, number 13 looks like a safe bet. Other notable numbers, edge rusher Savon Jones is wearing number 95, linebacker Key Roberts is in number 51, the new punter is sporting number 39, tight end Caleb Lohner is wearing number 84. Lohner is especially interesting. He's a former basketball player who's drawing early comparisons to Jimmy Graham. He wore 84 at Utah, and it's a meaningful number in Denver too, as it was once worn by Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe. If he pans out, 84 could become iconic once again. As for which jersey to buy, for now, Barron and Bryant feel like solid picks. And Harvey, maybe wait until he gets his permanent number before making that investment. Now, on to one of the biggest moves the Broncos made, a surprising roster cut that caught a lot of people off guard. Critics questioned the team's decision to draft a punter in the 6th round, arguing he could have been signed as an undrafted free agent. But the Broncos clearly saw something others didn't, and it's a decision that could prove important down the line. There was talk of a punting competition in Denver, but that debate is now officially over. The Broncos have released veteran punter Matt Haack, sending a clear message. Rookie punter Josh Krasinski is the guy moving forward. Let's be honest, Haack didn't exactly inspire confidence. His NFL numbers were underwhelming, and his tape didn't show much upside. Some critics tried comparing Krasinski's college stats to Haack's NFL averages, suggesting they were similar, but that comparison misses a key point. Punting in college is a completely different game. In college football, teams often operate on shorter fields, and punters rarely have to launch the ball from deep inside their own territory. Instead, there's a heavier emphasis on directional punting and pinning opponents inside the 20. That's where Krasinski stood out. Despite averaging 46 yards per punt at Florida, many of his kicks were designed for placement, not distance. And his hang time, reportedly around 5 seconds. That's elite by any standard. Now imagine that kind of hang time at Denver's altitude. The air's thinner, the ball travels farther, and the Broncos' special teams unit, coached by one of the best in the league in Mike Westhoff, aka Coach Reese, is ready to take advantage. This move doesn't just signal faith in the rookie punter, it's another sign that head coach Sean Payton is fully reshaping this roster and its mindset. The culture shift is obvious. The team believes in the direction it's heading, and players are buying in at every level. A few years ago, decisions like this might not have happened, but today the Broncos are operating with purpose, and it's showing. Rookie minicamp even featured multiple players stepping in early and embracing leadership roles. The energy is different in Denver, and that's a very good thing. Not every rookie at Broncos minicamp has officially signed their contract yet, and that includes first-round pick Jonah Ellis. Still, despite not having a finalized deal in place, Ellis took the field anyway. That's a big show of trust. Why does it matter? Because there's risk involved. If he suffers a serious injury before his contract is finalized, there are no guarantees. Yet, he signed an injury waiver with the team, essentially saying, "I trust the organization. I'm ready to work." Moves like that may happen occasionally, but they're far from routine, and they speak volumes about the culture Sean Payton is building in Denver. Compare that to what's happening elsewhere in the league. For example, Cincinnati's top pick, defensive end Shamar Stewart, hasn't signed and is sitting out. That's a huge setback for a Bengals defense that already struggled last season. They were counting on Stewart to step in right away and make an impact. Missing reps this early isn't ideal, especially for a team looking to rebuild on that side of the ball. So while other teams are dealing with rookie holdouts, the Broncos are earning the trust of their young talent. That speaks to the professionalism of the front office and the belief players have in Payton's system. It's more than a contract, it's a commitment to building something real. Shifting gears, let's talk about some notable schedule leaks. One game many fans had circled was a Week 10 matchup against the Colts, originally rumored to take place in Germany. Sean Payton had openly expressed interest in taking part in the NFL's International Series, and it would have made sense. Not only would it boost the team's global exposure, but it would have also neutralized a home game for an AFC rival. But according to reports, the Colts declined the opportunity. They chose to keep the home field advantage instead of traveling overseas. To put it plainly, it feels like a sign of respect, or even fear. Why else would they pass up a high-profile international showcase? They didn't want to face Denver on a neutral site. That says a lot about how competitive the Broncos are becoming. The Colts reportedly turned down the chance to face Denver in an international game, and that's telling. Just 2 years ago, teams were lining up practically asking the NFL to let them face the Broncos. Now, teams are opting out. They don't want to take the risk on a neutral field. That's a sign of how much things have changed in Denver. Even better for Broncos fans in the Midwest. The game is staying in Indianapolis. And for those within driving distance, that's great news. But what matters more is what this means for the team's reputation. The Broncos are no longer seen as an easy win. Teams are avoiding us, and that's progress. Now, Sean Payton has been clear. He wants the Broncos to feel more like a college team. Tight-knit, energized, and united. Last season, he even structured a road trip to mimic a college atmosphere. Players loved it. Defensive lineman Zach Allen mentioned on a podcast how fun and unique the trip was, with hotel ghost stories and a strong team bond. That's the kind of culture Payton is creating. The Broncos still expect to play internationally this season, just not against the Colts. Instead, a previously scheduled road game against the Jets will now take place in London. It's a big opportunity for exposure and for the team to grow together off the field. The only potential drawback? Timing. If the London game lands in Week 6, it likely means Denver's bye week will come in Week 7. That's earlier than ideal. Last year's Week 14 bye was perfect, giving the team extra rest before the playoff push. A Week 7 break isn't terrible, but it's not optimal either. On a lighter note, let's touch quickly on jersey numbers again. Jonah Ellis rocking number 12, it's growing on fans. The Denver secondary is shaping up to be something special, and Ellis could be a key part of what many are already calling a no-fly zone 2.0. There's even talk of new merch celebrating the new look defense. Stay tuned. What I love most about this defense is how tough it's going to be to throw against. You've got Nick Bonitto, Zach Allen, JFM, and Key Robinson all coming after the quarterback, and they're hungry. Even their jersey numbers all seem to have a 2 in them. 21, 12, 2. It's a small detail, but it gives the unit a cool, unified feel. Now let's talk about some news that caught a lot of fans off guard. Lil Jordan Humphrey, a fan favorite in Denver, has just been cut by the New York Giants. This guy played in 50% of the Broncos' offensive snaps last year and brought real value. He wasn't just a depth piece, he made big plays. I still remember that run after the catch against the Chargers. And who could forget the time he broke multiple tackles to reach the end zone late in the 2022 season? Sean Payton clearly loves him. Why? He blocks well, runs sharp routes, and does the dirty work that doesn't always show up on the stat sheet. It was tough losing him when New York offered more money, but now he's a free agent again, and the Broncos could bring him back on a much friendlier deal. We've been talking a lot about wide receiver depth. Guys like Gabe Davis, Keenan Allen, and even Amari Cooper are still options, but bringing back Lil Jordan just makes too much sense. He already knows the system, he already fits the culture, and he's a guy who always gives it everything he's got. Let me know in the comments, should the Broncos bring him back? Also, apologies for the late post. I had an appointment with my wife's oncologist today. I'll update you all soon. Broncos country, we've got a lot to believe in this year.